YouTube is a place where many people come together to express themselves. While many of you are already familiar with this website, especially since you're on it right now watching this video and seeing my face, some of you may be unaware of YouTube's darker corners, a weird glitch in the algorithm that allows certain disturbing videos to thrive. There is something I've been seeing other creators talking about recently that sparked a lot of concern in me. Do any of you remember the creepier side of the internet from over a decade ago with cartoons such as Salad Fingers? When I was a kid, I remember my friends and I being so invested in this series and how creepy it was, even disturbing at points. Animations like this were a hit on YouTube many years ago and are still appreciated to this day for how eerie and strange they are. While still appreciated for the nostalgia, however, I'd argue that cartoons like Salad Fingers are not what most would consider creepy by today's standards, given the other things that people are able to stumble upon now. There is a darker side of YouTube that has become more popular over the past few years. This is where really bizarre and oftentimes really disturbing videos are posted under titles and search terms that can be stumbled upon accidentally by not only any regular person, but children as well. There is a term for this content which is called full stop punctuation videos. I want to be clear that my reasons for creating this video are to inform my audience about it, not to invoke curiosity, but here's the thing. I'm not going to tell you, don't look this search term up on YouTube, don't type this into the YouTube search bar, because I know that by the time I say that, half of you will have already paused this video and looked it up yourselves. And why do I know that? Because I did that same exact thing when I saw other people saying, don't look this up on YouTube. My first instinct was to, okay, no, I'm obviously going to look it up. Instead, what I'm going to do is explain what happens when you do look this up in a brief and vague way to make this watchable content and also not to disturb anybody. And I'd also like to give a warning to parents out there who may watch my content to inform themselves on what lurks online to keep their kids away from. It's very, very easy for young children to stumble upon this, and some of the things we are going to be talking about do depict child-friendly cartoons, but they are not child-friendly videos at all. And if you don't believe me that it is extremely easy for children to stumble upon stuff like this, let me remind you, back in 2017, there was something called Elsagate. These were videos of people that were dressed up like Spider-Man and Elsa, and they made content directed towards children. However, there would be a lot of stuff shown in their videos that were considered inappropriate for children to see. This content has since been cracked down on by YouTube, but the channel grew rapidly due to exploiting YouTube's algorithm in a similar way that this full stop punctuation content does. So let's dive into the surface level of this content of full stop punctuation videos. Typing in a single particular character, such as a period or a slash, or strange strings of symbols into the YouTube search bar could end up showing you some very unsettling content. Some videos have extremely graphic thumbnails, which I can't even show here without this video getting age restricted. And that's if I'm lucky, because chances are it would take my entire video down. And trust me, this is very frustrating, because as far as I know, a lot of these videos that pop up under these search terms aren't age restricted, but I'll get back to that in a moment. At a glance, or as I have previously mentioned on the surface level, a lot of these videos are just purposefully creepy to freak out those who look them up. Many of these videos are distorted and considered to be in the uncanny valley, which, if you don't know, tends to be things that look the way that they're supposed to look, but something's off, and that something that is off makes you feel really disturbed and uncomfortable. And then there are other videos that are just full-on horrifying to see. There's this one video of a man with a dolphin's face, and another video of a goat person that looks pretty realistic, but obviously has to be fake in some way. But either way is extremely creepy, and there are other videos of monstrous-looking figures, creepy faces, morbid artwork, and these are often black and white and low-quality footage videos just to add to the unsettling atmosphere. Now, I would consider these videos to be the least harmful out of everything that we will see in this genre of content. And there is a reason why I am saying least harmful instead of not harmful at all. As I had previously mentioned, this is really easy for children to stumble upon, and while I know many of you out there are probably thinking, well, this is the parents' responsibility to make sure that their kids aren't watching things like this on their tablets and phones, that's kind of why I'm bringing this up, to warn people out there that this stuff exists and to look out for it. People have even taken kids shows such as Peppa Pig and edited clips to make them extremely disturbing. As an adult, I find this to be really freaky, but for a child of the age that Peppa Pig is directed towards, seeing something like this could be absolutely traumatizing. Also, aside from a young child potentially stumbling upon this content and being terrified by it, these videos are often a gateway into worse content hidden underneath these search terms and accounts posting them. Several videos pop up that display other kid-friendly characters in very violent situations. I obviously won't be sharing any graphic imagery here, but I will briefly explain what these videos consist of in the least disturbing way possible. Some of these videos have very disturbing thumbnails, but end up just being troll posts with memes and garbage content in the video itself, while others are full-length content that show kids' cartoons with edited scenes of their favorite characters being put in gruesome and sometimes fatal situations. There were several videos with Looney Tunes characters, such as Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, animated and edited to look like they were in horrific and gruesome incidents and accidents. Again, these are so disturbing that even showing clips of these videos in my video explaining it could get my video far beyond age restriction. I think YouTube would just straight up take it down, maybe even give me a strike for it. What's even worse than that, though, is the fact that the videos that are still up and viewable on YouTube, by the way, get hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views. Before we get into the darker content in this genre, which, if you were wondering, by the way, yes, it does get much, much worse, this is a critique on YouTube's end. I know YouTube has cracked down a little bit on this content since creators have been discussing this over the past year or so, but I was able to watch some of these videos I mentioned so far and others which we will get into in a moment within the past day of recording this video. Why is this content still passing through YouTube's system at this point? It's not even like these videos look normal up until the last few minutes and then it's gruesome. It starts at the thumbnail before people even click on it. What's frustrating is I get warnings on videos talking about this content and warning people about this content, and when they show any of the clips of the content being discussed in their videos, they censor it out, they blur it out completely, and some of those videos are even age restricted and demonetized and hidden from YouTube's algorithm. Yet when you look up the original videos, you can still find them easily available. No warnings when you click on it, no warnings when you click on the search. It's fully playable. You have people who are whistleblowing this issue and telling you, hey, something's up and this is wrong and YouTube should fix it, but instead they're censoring that person trying to talk about why this is bad instead of actually censoring the content that they are discussing. And let me tell you, the videos that they discuss, the videos that I'm discussing in this video, if you were to look them up yourself, they are fully uncensored, disturbing footage available to be seen with no warnings at all. That makes no sense to me. The Looney Tunes videos, for example, are still up, and that directly goes against YouTube's guidelines, by the way. You're not allowed to take a kid's cartoon character and use it to depict graphic content, especially content with violence like this. Yet this content remains fully playable online with no age restrictions that I could see, while other channels again have to go to great lengths to censor themselves so they don't get penalized by YouTube, and even when censoring their content, they still get penalized by YouTube. Why? All of this shows me that YouTube has to know about this situation. They have to be aware of it at some point. But let's reel things back in and talk about how things do get worse under these search terms. So far we have talked about creepy content and violence that has been edited into kids' cartoons. But what if I told you that this rabbit hole gets way darker than just disturbing animations, and also way more dangerous? Where graphic images of real people and seemingly real circumstances are shown in some of the videos and thumbnails. Now, like I said, YouTube did actually clean some of this stuff up from what I can see, but there are reports that some people do still stumble upon this. Some older deep dives discussing this subject would share that some of the videos in these searches would reveal real violence towards real people, including someone unaliving themselves. Now, I personally haven't seen that video myself. Believe it or not, despite my ability to cover dark topics like this, there's only so much that I can hit a limit with and that I can stomach before I have to completely shut everything off and step away, and I definitely did not make it far enough to find that video in particular. So there is a chance that YouTube did remove the video. Hopefully that is the case, or it just so happens that I didn't look hard enough and find it myself, which scares me, and I hope that YouTube just removed it. I did, however, stumble upon a video that showed what seemed like a lifeless body in the thumbnail. That was when I checked out. That was my breaking point, and I didn't want to look into this anymore because I was so disgusted. Even if that picture was fake or photoshopped, it looked realistic enough for me to be completely disgusted and disturbed, and it made me sick to my stomach. There was also a short video that I saw where it looked like a person was sitting in a chair against their will, for a lack of better term that YouTube would penalize me for saying. To describe this as tamely as possible, they were unable to escape this chair, and it looked like the person filming this was maybe preparing to harm them in some way, but it looked very obviously staged. It looked like it was just kids filming this and possibly doing so to participate and partake in this search term as a joke, because it does seem that many people use this type of content for troll posting. I'm very convinced that that's what this video was. Still disturbing though, and still something that YouTube shouldn't be allowing on their platform, because what the heck, I can't even say certain random words here without getting my video restricted, but this is allowed, and so much more. But also, it just shouldn't be allowed anyway. This type of content is very disturbing. And if YouTube wants to be super squeaky clean and ad friendly, they should definitely be making sure this type of content isn't posted. I do think that YouTube needs to do a better job at regulating this type of stuff, especially since so many creators have come out and discussed this, brought it to other people's attention. These videos clearly go against YouTube's terms of service, by the way. So instead of cracking down on channels trying to spread awareness about this, maybe crack down on the original uploads themselves and work on getting it removed from the platform instead of punishing people who want to warn others about it. Unfortunately, as with many situations here online, my best advice is that if you are a parent, take this as a warning to watch out for what your kids are getting into online. The best thing you can do as a parent in this situation is monitor what your children are doing online, on their tablets, on your phones. Make sure that if your child is watching a cartoon like Peppa Pig or Looney Tunes, that it is actually the real version and not these disgustingly edited clips showing gruesome imagery through the likeness of kids' characters. Red flags to look out for are videos with strange symbols or strings of strange symbols or single characters like a period or a slash. And of course, a lot of these videos straight up have gruesome thumbnails before they're even clicked on. So if you look through your history and see anything like that your kid might be watching, that's a sign that it might be one of the videos in this type of genre. Stay safe out there and make sure your loved ones are staying safe on the web as well. Thank you so much if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, and thank you so much to everybody supporting me over on Patreon, especially Lewis, Miss Tanisha, Anthony, Tress Out Michelle, and Deemer WM. With that being said, I will see you in the next video. And so will Chester, who's sleeping right behind.